Hello? On the dance floor, a woman is searching for prey, while her husband hides at home, preparing to blackmail. Through this method, the couple amassed a substantial amount of money. However, their growing greed led them to become more ruthless. From blackmail, they escalated to murder. Within 2 years, the couple had taken 4 lives and became notorious as the most infamous demon couple in northeast China. Yongxi, born in 1957 in Harbin, northeastern China, grew up in a poor family. From a young age, he developed a habit of stealing. His parents were unable to control him, leaving him to do as he pleased. By the time he was 20, Yongxi was finally sent to a reformatory by the police, where he worked for 3 years due to theft. However, during his time there, instead of reforming, Yongxi was influenced by some older thieves. Under their influence, he considered his previous actions to be trivial. Thus, upon his release, he vowed to pull off a major heist. Soon after, Yongxi was arrested again for highway robbery and sentenced to 4 years in prison. Not long after his second release, worried that their son might continue down the wrong path, Yongxi's parents found him a job at a boiler equipment factory in the urban area. From that point, Yongxi became a person with a formal job. For someone with a criminal record, Yongxi cherished this opportunity and worked diligently. With a stable job, he began to think about settling down. Opposite his house was a dry goods store, where he frequently bought cigarettes, leading him to become acquainted with a shop clerk named Yu Lian. Lian was 6 years younger than Yongxi and had an unfortunate childhood. Her parents divorced when she was young, and perhaps due to the lack of a father's love, Lian always sought attention from men. Despite Yongxi's criminal past, he was quite attractive. He quickly captivated Lian, and their relationship developed rapidly. It didn't take long for them to get married. After marriage, Lian gave birth to a lovely son for Yongxi. With a child, Yongxi abandoned his previous bad habits. However, Lian did the opposite. Due to her job, she often interacted with strangers. If she met someone she liked, she would have an affair. Sometimes she even brought men home, claiming they were colleagues. Initially, Yongxi didn't suspect anything, but after a while, even a fool could see the truth. He then beat Lian brutally. However, this action did not deter Lian's bad behavior, but instead triggered her rebellious nature. Lian then spent her days meeting with partners and even stopped coming home. Yongxi saw that Lian was incorrigible but had no solution. For the sake of his son, he didn't want a divorce. In the end, he turned to drinking to ease his frustration. By 1989, the factory where Yongxi worked was performing poorly, failing to pay wages for several months. Living in poverty every day, Yongxi became anxious and irritated. He immediately thought of his old job, but years had eroded his theft skills. He feared that if caught, he would face at least 10 years in prison. What would happen to his son then? After much contemplation, an idea struck him. Since his wife Lian enjoyed relationships with other men, why not use that to make money? With this idea, he called his wife and said, "Anyway, I can't control your affairs. I don't want to divorce you because of our son. From now on, I won't mention it again, but you must help me make money." Hearing this, Lian was not ashamed, but excited. She felt that she finally had freedom. From then on, Lian became a familiar face in dance clubs. Money continuously flowed into Yongxi's pocket. Seeing how easy it was to make money, Yongxi eventually shared his grand plan with Lian. He knew that men having affairs wouldn't want their families or companies to find out. So, he wanted to exploit this weakness for blackmail. When Lian heard this, her eyes lit up. They then began discussing the plan. Finally, they decided to install a light on the balcony with a switch hidden next to the bed. The following evening, an elderly man fell into their trap. Yongxi, watching the light from downstairs, rushed upstairs as soon as it lit up. He broke into the room and attacked the man in bed. The man, realizing the situation, began to tremble and knelt down, offering all the money in his pocket, over 1,000 yuan, a significant amount in 1989. Once freed, the man hurried out without even putting on his clothes. The couple couldn't stop laughing at this sight. They were very pleased with their day's work. The next day, Lian switched to a different dance club to find a new target. This time, she brought home a young man. As before, Yongxi caught them in bed. However, this time the young man didn't have much money on him. Yongxi found only a small amount. Dissatisfied with the meager sum, Yongxi searched the young man's pockets and discovered an employee ID card. It turned out, the man was a team leader at a local construction company named Long. So, Yongxi threatened to take Long to the police if he didn't pay up. Terrified, Long promised to go home and fetch the money. Seeing the easy 2,000 yuan come into their hands, the couple was overjoyed. In the following days, several similar incidents occurred, but they had no intention of killing anyone. However, a subsequent event disrupted their plans. On October 30th, 1989, Leon brought home a young man named Sean. After they got into bed, Leon turned on the balcony light and Yongxi immediately rushed upstairs. As before, Yongxi initially threatened the man. But what Yongxi didn't expect was that Sean understood the scheme. When Yongxi approached, Sean realized they were just trying to extort money from him. So Sean began to argue with Yongxi. Furious, Yongxi drew a knife, intending to intimidate Sean. To his surprise, Sean not only wasn't afraid but also threatened Yongxi in return. Enraged, Yongxi stabbed Sean in the thigh, hitting a major artery. Blood gushed uncontrollably from Sean's wound. Leon, horrified, couldn't speak. She begged Yongxi to take Sean to the hospital immediately. However, fearing that Sean would report them, Yongxi watched Sean bleed to death. To avoid detection, Yongxi dismembered Sean's body and disposed of the parts the next morning. This was their first murder. In the following days, Yongxi and Leon lived in fear. They didn't dare leave their house for days. Whenever they heard a noise from a neighbor or downstairs, they were terrified, thinking it might be the police. However, after a while, they realized no one was paying attention to them, which emboldened them to continue their schemes. This time, however, they didn't dare bring men home, fearing another dangerous encounter. In March 1990, one afternoon, Yongxi went to a nearby club. He noticed a young girl wearing a gold bracelet. They danced and quickly agreed to have an affair. Yongxi brought her home. After their encounter, the girl was preparing to leave when a rope tightened around her neck from behind. Soon, she was strangled to death. That night, Yongxi dismembered her body into over 20 parts. Over the next 3 days before dawn, Yongxi and Leon disposed of the body parts in public toilets or garbage dumps. The discovery of the body parts quickly alarmed the public. Faced with so many body parts, the surrounding residents were terrified. In the following months, the police conducted extensive operations. They investigated hundreds of suspects and interviewed thousands of residents. Learning of this, Yongxi decided to go into hiding temporarily. By the end of 1990, when he realized he didn't have money for the new year, Yongxi decided to take a risk. This time, he brought home a woman. However, after the murder, Leon saw the good quality underwear the victim was wearing and decided to wear it herself. This action was truly horrifying. For the next few months, no crimes occurred and the public's fear gradually subsided. On the other hand, due to limited criminal investigation methods at the time, the case made no significant progress. The police had to use all their resources to conduct the investigation. Seeing the police's seriousness, Yongxi was too scared to continue committing crimes. Leon, seeing her husband's cowardice, began planning a new scheme. On the morning of May 7, 1991, Leon was attracted by a large gold ring on a man's hand at the dance club. She concluded that he must be a wealthy boss. Confidently, she approached him. In reality, he was just a repair worker at a factory. The man, named Zhao, was thrilled to see a beautiful girl. They chatted briefly and then he followed Leon home. The process was similar to previous cases. After Zhao undressed, Yongxi appeared with a menacing face, threatening Zhao for money. Although Zhao appeared compliant, it took just 3 punches and 2 kicks to knock Yongxi to the ground. Seeing the situation, Yongxi quickly pulled out a small knife he carried and stabbed Zhao in the stomach. Zhao kicked Yongxi again, knocking him down. Then Zhao began to strangle Yongxi. As Yongxi was on the verge of losing consciousness, he suddenly yelled his wife's name. At this moment, Leon, who had been standing nearby in a daze, snapped out of it and picked up the knife on the ground. She stabbed Zhao precisely in the neck, incapacitating him. Yongxi then got up and stabbed Zhao multiple times until he stopped moving. After this incident, the devilish couple committed dozens of crimes in less than 2 years, killing a total of 4 people. But karma spares no one, and they could never have imagined that they would be caught over a trivial amount of money. Yongxi had a neighbor named Ma. Ma often saw Yongxi wearing gold. Though that they were not close, Ma once asked to borrow 50 yuan from Yongxi. Surprisingly, Yongxi refused. From then on, Ma harbored resentment and always looked for an opportunity to get back at Yongxi. One day, Ma came up with an idea. He threatened Yongxi, saying that if he didn't lend the money, he would report him to the police. Still, Yongxi refused to lend the money. Consequently, Ma went to the police station and accused Yongxi of masterminding a crime. After receiving this information, the police began a covert investigation. No one could have imagined that Ma's prank would reveal a crucial clue to the police. During the investigation, the police discovered that both individuals were unemployed but lived lavishly. Neither family was well off, so the police searched their house and found many bloodstains in the bathroom. Upon examination, the evidence was confirmed and the police arrested both individuals. During the interrogation, they did not hide anything and quickly confessed to everything. Thus, on January 9th, 1993, with all the crimes they had committed, both were taken to the execution ground, ending the story of the infamous devil couple of Northeast China. Through this case, we can see that in marriage, trust, and mutual support are crucial for maintaining a family. However, if one partner sees the other doing wrong, but not only fails to stop them, but also supports their wrongdoing, this can push the family into the abyss of destruction. In this case, Lian was the first to err, and Yongxi not only failed to dissuade her, but also pushed her further into crime. Ultimately, the price of their greed and cruelty was the destruction of their family, leaving their poor child orphaned, facing society alone with the negative legacy of his parents' actions.